So I want to take this opportunity to talk a little bit more about the Indiana Fever, the WNBA, and of course Caitlin Clark. I did not intend this to be a WNBA channel, believe it or not. I was hoping to talk about a number of things, including my Carolina Panthers. They lost again last week or a couple days ago, Sunday, to the Denver Broncos. But at this point, I mean, what's really left to say? You know, there's not much left to say. We're bad. We lose. It's just not looking good. But so I want to talk about some of the excitement and some of the uncertainty, but exciting uncertainty, I guess, if you want to say it that way, regarding the Indiana Fever. I want to talk about, this coaching search and just kind of talk about, some of the candidates, some of the other candidates. Obviously, it looks like Stephanie White's going to be the odds-on favorite. And I want to talk about the reasons I think she'd be the best fit. And I want to talk about somebody in Lisa Bluder that's been talked about as a potential replacement. She was Caitlin Clark's Iowa coach, somebody Caitlin Clark has a lot of affinity for, love for. Talk about some of the pros and cons and why ultimately I don't think she'd be the best fit for this to be that, but at the same time, I wouldn't be 100% against it either. So yeah, they got a new front office. Kelly Krasnoff and the other lady's name, believe it or not, escapes my mind. Good research, Jace. They're doing a lot of really cool things. It looks like they're really going to be on the hunt now for a coach. They released Christy Sides, which again, like I said, I'm not going to celebrate that, but I do think it was the right move. To me, she did a lot of wonderful things for them off the court. To me, she really, kept the chemistry good. She really kept them insulated with the crazy Caitlin Clark effect and the media and everything going on there. She stayed off social media. The team itself seemed to stay off social media, except for one person who I'll get to in a second. And, I just feel like she did a good job with that, but unfortunately her work on the court left a lot to be desired. Not only did she not use Caitlin Clark properly, she did not use Aaliyah Boston properly. She wanted everything to go in the paint through Aaliyah. Well, Aaliyah's a lot more than just an in-the-paint post player. Like I said, she has a very good mid-range game. She's a very good passer for her size and position, and she can really help stretch things. I don't think she used her properly. To me, she was a little too reliant on Alyssa Smith, which is kind of an interesting subplot. Alyssa Smith, after the season, deleted the Indiana Fever off of her profile. She was pretty much done with them. Not as done as we are with her, but that's another story for another video, which I made. You can look that up, where I said thanks for nothing to her, and I meant every word of that. But after they got rid of Christy Side, she suddenly put the Indiana Fever back on her social media stuff, which to me is interesting. Because was she against Christy Sides the whole time? Because Christy Sides used her a lot more than I felt like she should have. So she kept kind of going to her to be in that 4 spot, and just didn't. There's games she looked like she belonged, but a lot more games where it looked like she didn't. Where it looked like they were better off with the Damaris Dantes and Tammy Fagbinley, kind of a platoon there. And now suddenly she wants back. I mean, is it because of the way she didn't play very much of the Connecticut Sun playoff series? Well, that first game when Alyssa Smith was on the floor against her girlfriend, Dejanay Carrington, she was sorry. I mean, you see the videos, she just would not throw screens on her, and you could just tell it bothered her. And that's a problem. Dejanay Carrington's probably going to be a big part of the Sun going forward, and they're going to have to play the Connecticut Sun. They're both on I guess what would be considered the Eastern Conference, even though they don't really seem to have conferences, at least when it comes to the playoffs. Scheduling, I guess that means they'll play them at least 4 times a year, or maybe more now with the extended schedule. But of course, they have a new team now. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't think many people do outside of the WNBA itself. But that's one of the things that is going to be interesting to see. I hope they do not bring her back. I hope her time in the Indiana Fever uniform is the last. I hope when she took her Indiana Fever uniform off at the end of that Connecticut Sun game, that was the last time she'll ever wear it. I really hope so. Like I said, to me, she's just not the one. And then, of course, what she's done with her girlfriend, Dejanay Carrington, who did something very serious and poked Caitlin Clark in the eye on purpose. And then they kind of mocked it in a video, and she was a big part of that. You could tell it was a skit they'd set up, and then they either were live streaming it or went out of the way to put it out there. That's pretty sorry. So she needs to go. That's all there is to it. Her Her style doesn't fit, and they need to get somebody else in there for personalities. From a personality standpoint, looks like they're going after Satu Sabali of the Dallas Wings. She's not making too much of a secret that she kind of wants to be there. Seems like the WNBA players get to go wherever they want to. But I feel like it's important that Caitlin Clark stays on a kind of like a mid-market team in Indiana. I don't think her going to New York or LA is going to be a great thing. I thought it'd be a great thing when Wayne Gretzky in the NHL went to Los Angeles. And yes, he brought a lot of fans to the sport, but I feel like for his career and his legacy, I think it would have been better, especially now, the way things are with the NHL now. I think it was a short-term gain for a long-term loss. I think if he would have spent his career in Edmonton, I think things would have been a lot different. But that's another story for another day. So hopefully she stays in Indiana. But another one of the coaches that gets brought up is Lisa Bluder. That's her college coach. They went to 2 championship finals appearances with Iowa, a team that had never been to a championship final before, had been to one Final Four in its entire existence over 50 years, over 50 seasons, and she went there twice in a row with Caitlin. So obviously she understands Caitlin. She understands how to unlock the best in Caitlin, and that's a good thing. She was very much about recruiting her. That's how they got her away from Notre Dame. Notre Dame was after Caitlin. A lot of the big schools, UConn wasn't for. Of course, maybe that's probably why they're trashing her so much. They don't want to look so dumb for not recruiting her. I don't think South Carolina did, which, by the way, that's a what if to end all what ifs. Everybody's like, oh, Brianna Stewart won 4 championships in 4 years at UConn. She's the bar, and Caitlin didn't win any national championships. Well, you have to look at the team. If Caitlin Clark could have started and played all 4 years at South Carolina, they would have won 4 national championships. Because the first 3 years, she would have had Aaliyah Boston. That's another what if. What if she would have had a 3-year head start on, having Aaliyah Boston as her teammate and won those championships? That's something to think about. But the reasons I would be against Lisa Bluder doing it, first of all, her age. She's never done the WNBA grind before. It's a lot different. She seems to be pretty well set at Iowa. She never really accomplished much outside of Caitlin. Of course, you would have Caitlin, but, she's never had a team with, Caitlin and Aaliyah and all that. Stephanie White understands, the WNBA, what it takes to be a WNBA coach, a successful WNBA coach, and how to handle a roster full of WNBA talent. So for that reason, to me, she seems like the best. She would be a better suit. Like I said, though, but of course, then again, you have to build this team around Caitlin. And if Caitlin, doesn't want her, no matter how good Stephanie is, of course, I've not heard anything. I think Caitlin would get along with anybody. She strikes me as that type. Just give me some teammates, give me a coach, and let's go out there and do it. And then have some fun afterwards. So, I don't think it's, I don't think she'd have anything against that. I don't think she's pulling any strings behind the scenes. I'm sure they're asking her opinion on a lot of things and putting a lot of stock in her opinion, but I don't think she doesn't strike me as the type that's trying to, get anybody fired or anything like that. She never had anything bad to say about Christy Sides, and I think she'd have been just fine if they brought her back on a personal level. But I think the office realizes, we need to do something. They've done something, so I'm glad to see that. So yeah, if they hire Lisa Bluder, I would not be, I wouldn't be disappointed. I wouldn't be disappointed, but I do think Stephanie White's the one they kind of need to get. Kurt Miller also, that's the guy in the last video's name I couldn't remember. He's coached the Sun for a while. He's coached a lot of teams. Los Angeles Sparks just fired him after an injury-riddled season where they didn't accomplish much, but he's had some good things to do in the past. Both him and Stephanie seem to understand how to build an offense around the players that they have and use their specific talents. And that's going to help not just Caitlin, but it's going to help Aaliyah and Kelsey Mitchell as well as Lexi Hull and anybody else on there. They're going to understand what they have and understand, how to build a good system, a good offensive system utilizing their talent. So it's an interesting time. Like I said, there's some uncertainty with this, but to me, I really trust this office to make a good idea. And I'm looking forward to them seeing what the Indiana Fever does in 2025. Of course, assuming they get there as the WNBA, assuming they don't blow it all up in the offseason by forcing a lockout or going on strike or whatever. I hope they, go through this season, gain some leverage, because right now they don't have nearly as much leverage as they think they have. If they can do another season and do a lot of the great things that they've did this season and do it even more, they're gonna have some leverage. And if I was them, I would wait for that. And Like I said, do whatever it takes to get Caitlin in Unrivaled. Unrivaled is going to be a huge bargaining point in the CBA. If it fails, which it will without Caitlin Clark, that's going to be brought up to the bargaining table and thrown in the players' faces. If it succeeds, which it will if they get Caitlin Clark, I saw they got Kate Martin, so I think they're trying her Iowa College teammate Kate Martin, who saw very little playing time on the Aces this year. I guess they're trying to get her in one way or another. The smart move by them to try to get her. If they have Caitlin, it's going to succeed, and then they'll have that leverage. But part of me hopes Caitlin Clark, takes this offseason to really, really rest and work on her 5-on-5 game, her Indiana Fever game. So we'll have to see. It's an exciting time. Like I said, it seems like things happen daily. By the time I finish uploading this video, they might have already hired somebody, and everything I said will be kind of useless, kind of outdated already. But we'll have to see. But again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Got over 50 subscribers. I didn't think I'd get in 5 years. I thought I could do this for 5 years and never get 50 subscribers. I didn't think anybody would watch this. This would just be kind of therapeutically just getting my feelings out there and putting them out there, which is something I never thought I'd do. Like I said, it's very therapeutic for me. And these video counts and these subscriber counts, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. I mean it. Thank you. And talk to you again a little bit later.